Well, howdy do, audience. How you doing? I know, it's only been like, I don't know, a week since my last Bully 2 video, but it seems like Bully 2 related news and Rockstar Games news has kind of kicked into high gear. So you know what, let's just get into it. So recently, an unannounced video game by Rockstar going under the codename Bonaire was refused classification by the Australian Classification Board. This, as you would expect, has already spawned a bunch of articles and videos discussing what Bonaire could possibly be. Basically what you have is Australia refusing classification for an unannounced Rockstar Games project and thus announcing it unintentionally.
Element Bells, Dave! Our quest class is the chance to know what we'll never know, 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 know what we'll never know.
Bonaire, and the reason I'm enunciating that is because I don't want it to sound like I'm saying Bonaire. Bonaire is not the first Rockstar game to receive this kind of treatment. Some of you may remember that Manhunt was refused classification back in September of 2004. Essentially what this means is that the game in question is likely to be considered a prohibited item by the Australian Customs and Border Protection Service. It is kind of funny how a place known for being full of animals that can kill you in seconds is so concerned with a video game that contains controversial material. Among other games that have also been refused classification, you have DayZ, Postal 1 and 2, and, like I said, Manhunt. But let's be honest. Let's for a second just be honest about this. Is this really gonna stop Australians from playing Bonaire whenever it comes out? Of course not. The Australian Classification Board is just one out of many barely breathing, pearl-clutching censorship dinosaurs run by a bunch of people who think that banning controversial content in video games is somehow gonna reduce the real-life equivalent. It basically amounts to some people in the Australian government still living in the past, back when Dungeons and Dragons was considered a danger to the youngsters who played it. It is idiotic, to say the least, but hey, on the bright side, we now know that Rockstar Games is already looking to have their next game, or DLC, rated prior to announcement. As for the name Bonaire, it is likely that this codename is not indicative of whatever type of game it is. I know a lot of people have pointed towards the island of Bonaire as if that somehow indicates, or even in some people's minds confirms, that Bonaire is where the next Rockstar game is gonna take place. I get it. I see why some people are saying this, but as some of you may know, Red Dead Redemption 2 was called Fiero, Grand Theft Auto 5 was called Rush, and Shetland Pony was the codename of Grand Theft Auto 5's PC port. None of these games had anything to do with those names. I think it's safe to assume that Bonaire falls into the same pattern. It would kind of defeat the whole point of having a codename for an unannounced video game if said codename revealed the location in which the game takes place. But as for what Bonaire is, here's what Jan2295 had to say. Let's think about it. It's way too early to be a new game. Classification happens very late in development. It'd be announced by now. So it's either a new version, possibly PC, of an existing game or a proper, most likely paid DLC. What released game could have that? Red Dead Redemption 2, of course. I've also seen some people speculate that Bonaire is either Grand Theft Auto 6, Red Dead Redemption 2 DLC, or Bully 2, and at this point I think your guess is as good as mine. Taking into account the comment Dan Houser made about Rockstar Games not planning on releasing GTA 6 in the current political climate we now unfortunately live in, I think it's at least somewhat safe to cross GTA 6 off the list. My money would be on either Red Dead Redemption 2 DLC or Bully 2, and the reason I say Red Dead Redemption 2 DLC is because there's still a lot of money to be made there, and Bully 2 because of all the recent Bully 2 news we've seen as of late. One thing we do now know is that Rockstar Games is in the process of getting ready to announce something soon. As the Reddit user Alien Nation put it, I would expect an announcement of this title in late September onwards, due to all of Take-Two's biggest titles in the release pipeline would have released by late September, and they have to make announcement of what's to come to avoid stock prices falling. And as I revealed in one of my previous videos, according to a Rockstar Games insider I've been in contact with for a long time now, Rockstar is aiming to release their next upcoming game during the holiday season of 2020. And so I think a late 2019 announcement seems likely given the circumstances, but then again, that's just my speculation. Just a few days ago, the good folks over at Rockstar North had their big flashy Red Dead Redemption 2 promotional poster taken down from the front side of their office building. Now this may not seem like a big deal to some people, but keep in mind that this is just a few weeks after Rockstar Games changed their Twitter icon from the Red Dead Redemption 2 Rockstar logo back to the classic Rockstar Games logo. It is also worth mentioning that Jan2295 stated back in April of 2017 that Bully 2 is at least partially being developed by, well, you guessed it, Rockstar North. In my opinion, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for a company like Rockstar to tear down big promotional material unless they're planning on using that space for some other kind of promotional material. I mean, to just kind of recap what we have so far, Rockstar Games has submitted a title for classification in Australia. They've taken down the Rockstar North promotional Red Dead Redemption 2 poster. And again, according to Jan2295, Bully 2 is being partially developed by Rockstar North. And like I said, they've changed their Twitter icon back to the classic Rockstar Games logo. I mean, honestly, the way I see it, it seems like Rockstar is planning on announcing something soon. I mean, it's either a coordinated effort or it's a very odd coincidence. And speaking of odd coincidences, let's get to the final story of this video. So as some of you know, Rockstar Games added a painting to GTA Online, which, like the revolver in Red Dead Redemption 2, references the motto of Bulworth Academy, that of course being the school in Bully. The painting's fictional author is named Matthew Morse, and as you would expect, some people have, because of this, speculated that the dots and the lines on the painting is actually a form of Morse code. Okay, so if that's the case, then the symbols we have are 4, A, D, and M. So last night, a viewer of mine, Lamo_me? I'm sure I butchered your name, so my bad, I apologize. Anyway, Lamo_me left this comment on one of my Instagram photos. Regarding the Morse code found in the GTA's last DLC, DNA 4, did you notice that it has a number 4, but the game would be 2? And if you decrease 2 letters for each letter, you can find the word BLY2. Okay, so this is what Lamo_me is saying. If you go 2 steps back on every letter and number, you get the following. D becomes B, N becomes L, A becomes Y, and 4 becomes 2. And so you end up with BLY2, Bully 2. And just like all of the other Bully 2 stories in this video, Jan2295 was asked about this and made a brief comment. What do you think about this theory? That'd be an interesting coincidence. I'm not gonna say that I put too much stock into the idea of this really being Morse code, but I do think that it's safe to say that it's either Morse code or a very odd coincidence. Again, let's think about this. Matthew Morse being the name of the fictional artist behind the painting, and as we now know, BLY2 being what you get if you subtract 2 from every letter and number in the supposed Morse code. So, I don't know, audience, it's something. Those of you who play Bully on the Xbox One, oh and by the way, feel free to add me on Xbox Live if you so desire. Those of you who have Bully on the Xbox One have probably noticed that Bully received a hefty update just a couple days ago. This is not, I repeat, this is not a Bully 2 news story, but there seems to be some confusion surrounding this, so here's what I've gathered. Contrary to what some people have said about this, no, this doesn't add any new content to Bully at all. In fact, GTA 4, Red Dead Redemption, and GTA San Andreas, just to name a few, were all given the same update. Unfortunately, this is simply the backwards compatibility emulator games like Bully use on the Xbox One getting some slight improvements. It would be kinda nice if the update had some kind of icon or something to signify this, but hey, now you know. What's also interesting is that I've seen people say that they are now unable to buy Bully and Red Dead Redemption 1 on the Xbox One. Anyone else not able to purchase Bully on Xbox One? Says not valid in my region. I live in the US. Not sure why it won't let buy it? What? Alright, well, whatever, you know what they're saying. I think it's safe to assume that this has something to do with the recent emulator update. Then again, who knows? Who knows, audience? Who knows what lies beneath the emulator? Anyway, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed the video or found it to be interesting, then please consider giving this video a like. And also, consider subscribing for more Bully 2 and Rockstar Games related content. Oh, and by the way, expect a really sweet announcement in a day or two. And I'm not talking about Bully 2. Just to be clear on that. Anyway, that is it for this video. You folks, as always, stay classy. Peace.
Okay.